We are looking ahead now to Governor Gina Raimondo's State of the State address, which is set to begin in less than 2 hours. She'll be touching on her accomplishments as she'll announce her budget proposal. Eyewitness News reporter Perry Russum is live at the State House with the Providence Mobile Newsroom.
We are 2 hours away from the governor giving her State of the State address. In the days leading up to today, the governor has been hinting to some of the different topics she will be talking about. The first one are skills and education. Yesterday, the governor announced she wants to make it a priority to have the SAT and PSAT free for all 20,000 public high school students in the state, saying the tests set a good standard and are tools to help close the skill gap. In turn, that will lead to students getting better jobs, and jobs will be a common theme tonight. The state's unemployment rate dropped by 2 percentage points to 5%, and the governor wants to keep that momentum going. Finally, that $50 million number, that's the deficit the state is now facing. We'll see how the governor plans to close that deficit while investing in other parts of the state. We asked our political analyst what the #1 issue for the people of Rhode Island is.
I think the taxpayers in Rhode Island, their #1 issue is still jobs. So that's what they want to hear. What is she going to do to keep the economy going? To bring new industry into the state, new companies into the state.
And the question now is, when does the governor expect to see returns on some of the investments she'll be outlining tonight? We asked that question to her chief of staff. That answer coming up at 6. Live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, Perry Russum, Eyewitness News.
Now the State of the State. Governor Gina Raimondo will deliver her second address tonight. In about an hour, she'll reveal her budget plans for the next fiscal year, outlining her spending priorities to the public. We have in-depth coverage for you tonight. WPRI.com reporter Ted Nisi is standing by with more on what you need to know leading up to the speech. But first, let's go live to Perry Russum with an interview with the governor's chief of staff. That's new at 6. Perry?
The state has created the most jobs in the past year since 2000, with an unemployment rate now on par with Massachusetts and Connecticut. Tonight, the governor will outline how she plans to keep that momentum going. With an economy bouncing back, Governor Gina Raimondo will focus on creating jobs in Rhode Island.
It's a comprehensive effort to try and make sure that everyone can make it in Rhode Island.
Stephen Newman is the governor's chief of staff. He says the governor plans to raise the minimum wage and expand the earned income tax credit to boost the state's economy, with investments being made to education to create a stronger future workforce. We asked Newman when the state can expect to see a return on some of these investments.
We think we're making progress. We know people are impatient. We're impatient, but the problems that exist in Rhode Island weren't created overnight. We're not going to solve them overnight, but we're excited about some of the progress that's been made and are excited to continue moving forward and put people back to work.
There's also the $50 million deficit looming over all of these plans.
And I think what you'll see is that this budget tries to make really tough decisions on in certain areas so that we can invest more in schools and invest more in economic development. And that's certainly what this budget does.
On the topic of education, the governor has already said it's a priority to make the SATs and PSATs free for all public high school students. Live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, Perry Russum, Eyewitness News.